guys, welcome back to the Gong Show. I know you're all waiting for 5:30 when your boy KJ52 shows up. He is here and he's in the house. You saw how excited I got. So let's welcome KJ to our party. What's up, KJ?
Hey. How's it going, everybody?
It's good. So what are you going to talk to us about today?
Well, two things. First of all, I would like to set the stage by let it speak for itself.
Nice. Love the movie.
Now, I was sitting in bed last night, just flipping through channels, and I saw that was on. I forgot all about that movie, to be honest with you, and just out of curiosity, didn't think anybody knew about that movie. It's so old. It's like over, I think it's got to be coming up on 30 plus years old. It was a bit before my time, to be honest with you. I was a little too young for that movie when it came out, but I think later on in my teen years became a little bit more significant. So I was just sitting there and I thought, I wonder if anybody else has an emotional connection to this movie. So I tweeted it real quick, and I couldn't believe the response. I mean, from teenagers to grown adults to people older than me, people my age, people younger than me, et cetera, et cetera. And I just thought about the significance of this movie, and especially as it relates to Remedy, because, the whole movie, the premise of it is that there's, 5 individuals. They say the brain, the princess, the criminal, and the athlete. And I think the way that movie was set up, it was just sort of to show the clickishness, the clicks
You got it.
of high school and all those things like that. And I thought about that and thought about how those things kind of shape us, where we fall in, how we identify ourselves, how we define ourselves. And someone said, well, who do you think you are? Which one do you define me as? And I realized that all throughout my adolescence, I was like every one of those people, except for the princess. I definitely was not the princess. Anyway, all that said, I thought how much we let other people define us versus how does God define us? Does he look at us as an outcast, or does he look at us as a criminal? Does he look at us as the brain? You know what I mean? It's just the classic situation where we define ourselves by what other people tell us what we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Instead of looking into God's word. I've been reading in Psalms a lot, and I love the Psalms and the Proverbs where it says, I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And I think a lot of times we forget about this. We forget about that God is not he doesn't make mistakes. We're really good at screwing things up, that's for certain. This is on the heels of me reconnecting with some of my high school friends over the last couple months. And some of them I've been out of touch with for years, and some, I still stay in touch with every week. But I've noticed those that decided to build their lives on the rock, so to speak, built their lives on Christ.
Right.
Years later, in a much better spot versus those that said, you know what, I'm going to kind of do things my own way. And all that was just from this stupid movie, pretty much. But I guess I just want to throw that out there for those that know the movie or are familiar with it. And I do want to premise this by saying this is not something that maybe young kids should be watching. There is a lot of profanities, a lot of adult stuff in this movie, and so I like I said, I didn't really watch it until I was much older, and I still kind of, the profanity and all that stuff doesn't sit well with me, but it shows the uglier side of high school, and let's be real, high school can be ugly.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But I think aside from that, I think there's still a good picture of how a lot of us struggle, whether it's in high school or not, and that's why I thank God for shows like The Gong Show and Remedy and what you guys are doing there. Because God knows we need help, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And I think you hit on such a great point, is that I think we're all seeking identity in who we are. And high school is one of those places where we really want to find out who we are. And so sometimes we put ourselves in those types of boxes, even if other people don't do it for us. So, hey, I had a great question asked in our chat right now.
Okay.
And it was, what is your process for writing your messages? And I don't know if that just means your raps or your preaching. I mean, probably both. Does it happen spontaneously, or is it over time?
it's a little bit of everything. To be honest with you, I end up. I usually keep a list of stuff that I want to talk about, and so as I come up with ideas or song choruses or just whatever you want to call it, I'll write about it or I'll talk about it. Like one of the biggest video blogs I've done is the one on smoking weed and the one about the Illuminati. That's the two ones that I've seen some of the biggest response, and that just came really out of a need. I just saw so many people talking, asking about it. And I said, well, it's one thing to talk about our opinion. It's another thing to talk, what does God say? So I usually say it's life experiences, it's situations.
Want some more? Want some more?
Okay, in a minute, bud. It's usually a combination of all those things. So.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, we always appreciate it when you show up and give us some wisdom. And I know people in the chat really appreciate it as well. So thanks again. We appreciate it.
Awesome. One last thing, actually. When we talk about art and music and things like that, secular versus Christian music or mainstream TV, I just want to show what this kid is doing here.
He's rapping already, man. Like his daddy.
Anyway, when we talk about secular and Christian music and things like that, I know there's a lot of people have different convictions about it. And I think this all kind of came to light today. I had to say, this is a rapper by the name of Kendrick Lamar, fairly popular guy, dropped a verse on somebody's song, and amongst my quote-unquote peer group, my rapper peer group, some people are just freaking out about it, saying it's the greatest verse ever, and all this, that, and the other. And other people are saying, why should we pay attention to what the world says? And it just brings up this whole issue of art and secular music versus mainstream music and things like that. And so I thought about all this, and I thought, well, what's the believer's response to this? We usually have one or two responses. We are one extreme where we're like, I don't want anything to do with secular music. It's the evil. It's the killer monster coming to eat me. And I went through that period too when I was a brand new Christian. I threw out all my old music, and I kind of had to because hip hop was so important to me. Over time, I've kind of learned to have some balance about the whole thing, and even just kind of approaching things biblically. One thing is we sometimes should look at is that Jesus quoted from secular songs. Paul quoted from secular poetry. And I'm not saying this is a license to go out and super indulge in all kinds of junk, but I am saying that there comes a time where we should know what the world's going on, what the world is doing, and even in some of the most profane situations, God can redeem that. And so that's why I'm very thankful for what I get to do. I'm thankful for my peer group. And I'm also have to say, after doing this for a long time, I get less excited about what the world has to tell me. But at the same token, I think we should be aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents on the Kendrick Lamar thing.
Nice. Well, thanks. And I think it's important for people like you to step up and say what your beliefs are, because I think people turn to you and they want to hear your wisdom, and you are an example. So thanks for bringing that out. So thank you again so much, KJ. We appreciate it. And get that child some milk.
I know he's dying over here. All right, thank you guys.
All right, take care.
Awesome.